how did you start being a barber?
Oh, that's a fun story. So
Ooh, let's do it.
yeah, that's a fun story. I'm sure like a lot of barbers out there that are like me and you with just a lot of years of experience. I started cutting hair. So back then, my mom would, we were getting like just one number two all around, or just very simple. So my mom would just get the machine. Say, I'm not gonna pay for that. Like, you're crazy. Like, get over here. Cuban mom. She's like, I'm not gonna go pay $10 or whatever, $9 to shave your head. So she just started shaving our heads at the house at number two, and little by little, my friends were like, you could, instead of, my mom was busy or something, they were like, oh, just shave my head because I'm going out. So I would shave their head, and they would shave mine, and back and forth. And then one day, one of them was like, had the bright idea. It's like, why don't you try to give me a fade? If you mess up, you just shave it with a 0. If it's good, then I have a fade with a 2 and a 0, So I attempted, but in 90 something, the fades weren't as perfect as they are today. Like if I had to battle with, I feel sometimes bad for the kids that are starting their career, because I'm like, there's some really good fades out there right now, So if you see those, it's, it's impressive. You're like, wow, like, I have to compete with that, Back then it wasn't like that. Plus we had no Instagram. No internet,
social media,
nothing. We have nothing to base it off but the pictures at the barbershop.
You had MSN.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it. Yeah. So, you saw the pictures on the thing in the movies, stuff like that is where you kind of got a glimpse of what that could be, And so I started doing that, and I would cut hair in my backyard for $5 or for free or whatever. And I had friends knocking on my window. And my mom would get so pissed because I would cut their hair sometimes in the house on the rug. And it was like light rug, so it would just get full of hair. And she would get so upset because, my whole rug would just be balls of hair. Like, these kids would come like all fuzzy and just literally shaving their heads or a 2 and a 0 fade, because that's all I knew how to do. And a half good one at that, And so that's how the very, very early of, stage of me starting to kind of cut hair. But I'm going to go back and forth. Again, it wasn't in my plans to be a barber or anything, but, it started seeming like a good thing because, I was having all these struggles in school, and I'm, meeting all these friends, and everybody's like, like, all of a sudden I'm like, I have this cool thing about me, which is...
And you have a clientele.
Yeah, and I'm starting to, people are starting to, gravitate towards me because of this cutting hair thing, and I'm like, wow, this could be a cool thing, Maybe I should look into this. But God had plans, so one of the machines, the one and only machine that we have in my house, breaks halfway through his haircut. So I cried to my mom, Mom, please let me get $10 because I got to take this friend of mine to the barbershop to fix his hair. And she's like, you're crazy. I'm not paying for his haircut. You tell his parents to go pay. I'm like, please, please. So she finally gave me the $10. And I go over to the local barbershop with him. That most of the time I would be getting haircuts there because they couldn't cut my hair, obviously, my friends. And so when they saw me sitting with the guy, the owner of the shop is like, who cut the other side of this guy's head? And I was just like, quiet, Like,
shy.
Yeah, shy. And I don't want to say it was me, These guys were all barbers for years, pros, And I looked up to these guys. And they were like, back then there wasn't as many barbershops as there is today. So it was like, your one barbershop in the town was like, where everybody went, it was like a line. So I see these guys like...
I used to wait 2 to 3 hours for a haircut.
Oh, exactly.
Back in 2002.
Right. Well, this was in 98, 90
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I started cutting hair in 98, in 97. This was probably in 97, imagine. And so the guy's like, my buddy's like, he cut it, and then the owner of the barbershop, this older gentleman, he's like, yeah, all right. Grab these machines right here and finish it.
And fix it.
And I'm like, no, man, I don't know how to use these machines. I have the machine, the plastic wall, the little old school wall that you buy at Walmart. And the guy's like, go, dale. He's Cuban guy. And he's like, dale, let's go. And I'm like, all right. So he moves over and I got the stuff. I'm so nervous. And I don't know how I just finished this haircut. And I forgot to say I was working at a pet shop during this time because I was on work experience. Because, back then, if you had learning disability, they try to get you in the work field. And so this guy tells me, all right, you have a job. And I go, I wasn't even looking for a job. He goes, look, you start tomorrow. And I'm like, I can't. There's no way, man. I have another job. I work at a pet shop, and they pay me really well. I make like $150 to $200 a week. And he goes, a week? In Spanish, son un abusadores. Those guys are abusers, He's like, look, if you don't make $200 a day here, I'll pay you the rest out of my pocket. And I go, what'd you say? A day? If I don't make $200 a day? And he goes, if you don't make $200 a day here, I'll give you the difference. So I got on the shop phone. I called the pet shop, and I go, hey, how are you guys? Just wanted to let you know I'm not going to make it in tomorrow. And that was on a Saturday. I went to work on Sunday. On that Sunday, I made like $100 and something
Wow.
cutting hair. And that's when haircuts were $9, you know? So you can imagine.
You had to cut a lot of hair.
Cut a lot of hair. But like you said, people will wait for 2 hours. And the difference, again, young barbers, like, it's completely different now than back then. Back then, there was a line at the door. The owner of the shop was like, you're getting a haircut with him. Like, it was not like, oh, I want a haircut with him. No, buddy. You're getting a haircut with whoever's available.
Whoever's
Or if
available.
not, go. There's nowhere else to go. I mean,
Find somewhere else.
Somewhere else, yeah, good luck. And find somewhere else that did good fades. In 1998, in 99,
Fade wasn't that popular.
Right, so
Yeah.
it was hard to find a good place. So if they were known for fades. Their place was called Fade Masters, and it's called Father and Son Fade Masters. I give those guys, a lot of credit because they didn't only teach me. Probably, and as you go through this process of interviewing other guys, you're gonna continue to hear probably about these guys because in my area, a lot of the successful guys stem out of that barbershop or another barbershop they opened. Like, probably I would say 70% of the guys that are successful either work directly in that shop or have worked under one of the guys that worked in that shop, me being one of them. So, like, we've all been able to, like, those guys trained us, and it's just like they're like, it's like a perfect example, like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, black belt, and all the people that they've impacted. That shop in in my area is the same as the Gracie's, like
Gracie Baja.
right. They were the kind of like the seed, and then they taught us, and then we branched out and all became successful business owners and so on and so forth. And that's grown from that shop. And I've been able to see that in 20 something years of cutting hair. And